Hello and welcome back to Freestyle here at 4-Wheel Throwdown. This is part 2 of the Freestyle for this little throwback event that I'm doing. We had a pretty good first 8 trucks, but now here's the rest of these 8 trucks in the lineup. First up for part 2 is Bulldozer. They did alright in racing, but here they are for Freestyle. Off they go, looking for their first obstacle of the day. Looks like they're going for the buses here. You full throttle for Bulldozer, goes up the buses, lands on the back, flips it over, and will save it. Pretty good save there from Bulldozer. Up and over these shipping containers that I added on the tabletop obstacle. Looked a little empty on the track. Figured I'd add a little something for part 2. Up and over the center ramp, Bulldozer goes, lands it back down, and up he goes over the tabletop, clearing the shipping containers. Going for the other shipping container obstacle over here. Up he goes, some huge air from Bulldozer as he lands it back down. Pops it onto 2 wheels for a little bit as he comes back onto all 4. Going back for the shipping containers, up into the air he goes, and lands it back down with a bounce. Rear wheel striking the van, but that doesn't seem to have stopped him. Looks like he might be trying to go for a donut or just turning himself around. Into a donut it seems here for Bulldozer. Pretty good donut from Bulldozer here. Back to the shipping containers, up he goes, and landing back down on the other side, popping it on 2 wheels once again. And will land it back down onto all 4. Going in reverse this time. Looks like he's going to go for the shipping container. Up he goes. And landing it back down. Going back to the shipping container. Almost going off the side of the ramp. Lands it back down. Goes over the crushed cars on the racing lane. Not quite going for the buses as he drives back, going for the other racing lane, up and over those crushed cars. Looks like he's going to go for this backflip ramp here. Up he goes, a nice backflip from Bulldozer. And with 5 seconds left on the clock, he's going to hit the shipping container, nose to the sky, land it back down, and pop a wheelie just as time expires. And Bulldozer has rolled himself over. And it seems like that will be the end of his run. Pretty good start to part 2. On to the next truck. Up next we have Stone Crusher. It did pretty well in racing as well. I believe last we saw them was at Gillette Stadium. But now they are here once again for Freestyle. Off he goes, going for the shipping container. Up he goes, some huge air from Stone Crusher as he lands it down onto his rear wheel. It seemed to shake a little bit, but otherwise the wheel seems fine. Up and over the buses, clearing the obstacle. Down he goes again, going for this van. Up he goes, some pretty good air from that obstacle. Himself turned around, going for this center ramp here. Up he goes, a little bit sideways, doesn't quite get the big air he would have wanted. But as he goes for the tabletop, he goes up and over the shipping containers and lands it down onto the other side. And into reverse he goes, up into the air, hitting the shipping container and popping it right back down on the other side. Going back over them again. Getting turned around a little bit, but managing to stay on all 4 wheels. Up and over the bus he goes, landing hard on those crushed cars there. Going for these cars here. Up he goes, onto his side, and he will save it. Now he's got to get out of this little mud pit area. This is going to cost him some time. Out of the mud pit comes Stone Crusher, and that did cost him a lot of time as he puts it in reverse over these crush cars. Going back forward over them, up he goes, landing it back down into a wheelie, up and over the shipping container, and landing it back on the other side. Pops a small wheelie as he comes out of it. Getting himself turned around, off to the van he goes. Stuffs it right into the crush car, and it looks like the car may have grabbed him. This is going to cost him some time as he tries to get off of the crush car. And he's freed himself. About 20 seconds left on the clock for Stone Crusher. What else does he have in store for us here? Going back to the buses, up he goes, and will clear the obstacle once again with some huge air. Looks like he's going to try and make it to this backflip ramp before time expires. Not quite. Time is expired for Stone Crusher. And it seems like that is the end of the run here for Stone Crusher. Let's move on to the next truck. Up next we have Bigfoot. More specifically, a 2002 Firestone Bigfoot. Again, Bigfoot did alright in racing. Beat Gunslinger in round 1, lost in round 2. But here he goes. Let's see what he has for us in freestyle. Steps the ramp a little bit, but it doesn't seem to have been on purpose, so the puck won't start just yet. Looks like he's going to try and line himself up for the bus obstacle here. And off he goes. Getting up speed, up and over the ramp, and will land it back onto the other side. Pretty good start to the run. Let's see what else this run has in store for us. He goes up and over the van, lands it down, pops a small wheelie as he comes out of it. Over to the center ramp, up he goes, landing it down. Back to the shipping containers, up he goes, right up and over. Lands it down on all 4 wheels and gets a nice little bounce. Pops it up on the front 2 wheels. Puts it in reverse, and up and over the shipping containers he goes. Putting it on the front wheels once again. Driving over those crushed cars, and right over the shipping container. Turning himself around, going for the center ramp. Up he goes. Lands it down. Up he goes, a little sideways, lands it down hard as both wheels on the left side seem to have broken off. And you go forward. The second wheel, the front wheel comes off completely this time. And this is going to severely limit Bigfoot, if not just stop the run completely. Into a donut, Bigfoot goes. Pretty good donut here from Bigfoot. Let's see what else they have planned. Trying to get himself into first. And it seems like that's the end of the run here for Bigfoot. Cut a little short, but let's see what else the other trucks have for us. Up next we have our finals racer, an Escalade. Lost to Little Tiger during the final round. Let's see if an Escalade can win the Freestyle Championship here. Going for the crush cars, right up and over, starting off pretty small. Might try and build his way up to bigger and bigger obstacles. As he goes for this van over here, up he goes, some big air, and landing it back down. Turning himself around, looks like he's going for this shipping container. Up he goes, some big air from an Escalade, as he lands it right back down. Pops it on 2 wheels for a bit as he saves it. Going up and over the crushed cars, putting it on 2 wheels once again. Up the bus obstacle, landing down hard on the bus. Going for these crushed cars on their side, up he goes. Lands it down, pops it into a wheelie. Looks like he's going for these shipping containers. Up he goes. Clears the obstacle, lands it on his side with much better luck than Bigfoot. And will drive it on his side for a little bit as he puts it back on all 4 wheels. Up the shipping containers once again, landing it down. Looks like he's going for the backflip ramp. Up he goes into a backflip and will put it back onto all 4 wheels. Going for the shipping container once again. Up he goes, some more big air from an Escalade. Going up the crushed cars. For the bus obstacle once again, landing right in the middle of the 2 ramps. Up the shipping containers, going up one of the cars, landing on the end, and popping the nose up into the air as he does a walkie, it looks like. Getting himself turned around for the center ramp. Up he goes. Lands back on all 4 wheels. Up and over the crushed cars he goes. Going up this tabletop once again, landing it down, popping it on 2 wheels. And looks like one more backflip here for an Escalade as time expires. Looks like he's going to try and save it, and that he does. And it seems like that will be the end of the run here for an Escalade. Pretty good run. Is it freestyle worthy? That's for you to decide. Up next we have one of my favorites, Blue Thunder. Now Blue Thunder is already in the World Finals due to a racing win. But if they do well here, maybe we'll have an old and a new Blue Thunder at the World Finals. Who knows? Off we go. Up and over the shipping container, landing it back down onto the other side. Goes up the crushed cars. And I did reset all the cars because some of the cars were starting to mess with the trucks in a previous attempt of Blue Thunder's freestyle. So I've just reset them so that way the rest of these trucks can have a nice, fairly smooth run. Up and over the van obstacle here. Popping it up and over the other crushed cars. Turning himself around, going for the buses. Up he goes. Stuffing it into the van. Up and over those crushed cars, popping it on his side wheels for a little bit. Up and over the shipping container. Getting himself turned around here. Looks like he's going for the center ramp. Up he goes. Some big air from Blue Thunder. Going for the tabletop. Up and over the obstacle he goes. Landing it back down on the other side. And putting it into reverse as he goes up the obstacle and will land it right back down. Doesn't seem like he's done driving in reverse just yet. Oh, not quite. He was done. Going for the backflip ramp. Up he goes. Some rotation out of that. As he lands it back down onto all 4 wheels, shedding some of the body panels as well. Popping it over the shipping containers again. Going for the bus obstacle. Right up and over he goes. Putting it on his wheels for a little bit. Up and over the crushed cars. Lands it down and gets a slap wheelie out of it. Continued that wheelie over the van. looks like Blue Thunder's gonna give us a donut here. Small donut from Blue Thunder, but off he goes for one of the racing lanes. Up and over the crushed cars he goes. Turning himself around, trying to go over the bus obstacle. Almost falls into the mud. Falls into the mud this time as he tries to go off the other bus obstacles. And he will get himself out of the mud. Pops it into a wheelie as time expires. Up and over that tabletop. Rolls it along the ground for a little bit. And will roll it over into the mud. Seems like that will be the end of the run here for Blue Thunder. Let's move on to the next truck. Up next we have Gunslinger. Lost to Bigfoot in round 1 of racing, but here he is. Off goes Gunslinger looking for their obstacle of choice to hit. Looks like they found the obstacle. And they're going to get themselves into position, it looks like, as he stops. Putting in reverse in between these two bus obstacles, he goes. And off he goes, going for the tabletop. Up he goes, some big airs. He lands it on the other side of that shipping container and pops a wheelie. Goes for the backflip ramp. Lands it on the hood, popping off that entire front clip there. Off he goes, up and over that shipping container with some big air. Lands it down and breaks the rear right wheel. That's going to hurt the run a little bit, but it probably won't stop Gunslinger. Trying not to get into the mud as he goes for the shipping container. Up he goes, some big air once again as he lands it back down. And turn himself around here. That rear wheel's not helping at all as he makes a pretty wide turn, hits the van obstacle, lands it down, rolls it over. Can he save it? Driving it on one wheel. Rolls it over. Rolls it over once again, and will get stuck in the mud, it seems. And he's rolled over near those concrete barriers. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get himself out of that very easily. And getting so close to the fans, too. Well, disappointing short run for Gunslinger. Up next, our second to last truck of the day is Maximum Destruction. Again, Max D, which is essentially a later version of Maximum Destruction, made it to the World Finals. Same thing as Blue Thunder. Maybe we'll have a Max D and Maximum Destruction together. Who knows? Up and over the crushed cars in the racing lane to start off the run here for Maximum Destruction. Turning himself around, going for the shipping container. Up he goes, some huge air for Maximum Destruction off that shipping container. Turning himself around and going for the tabletop. Up he goes over the shipping container before landing it down hard on the other side. Over to the bus obstacles he goes, drives right up and over the entire obstacle. Over the crushed cars on their side, lands it down, pops a wheelie as he goes up the shipping container once again, and landing it back down onto all four wheels. Getting himself turned around, up and over the center ramp, lands it back down, goes right up and over some of the crushed cars, pops it on two wheels for a little bit. Almost quite rolls it over on that bus obstacle, but Maximum Destruction will save it. Back to the shipping containers on the tabletop. Up he goes, lands it down on the other side. Doesn't quite pop a wheelie as he goes for the backflip ramp. And a pretty good backflip there from Maximum Destruction. Going for the shipping container again. Up he goes. Some big air. And landing it back down. Off to the bus obstacle. Getting it wide. Looks like he's going to try and clear the whole thing. Up he goes. Doesn't quite clear it as the rear part of the roll cage hits one of the buses. Off to the van obstacle. Up he goes. Lands it down. And we'll save it. Looks like Maximum Destruction's trying to start a donut as the wheel hits the center ramp. Doesn't quite seem to get the speed to do it. There he goes, a donut from Maximum Destruction. Nice little donut there. And he goes for the shipping container. Up he goes. Lands it down. And right into the shipping containers on the plateaus, he gets himself stuck. Puts it in reverse. Looks like he's going to try and go for this backflip ramp. There he goes. And will land it with the rear tire deflated. Going for the backflip ramp again, turning himself around. Time is up for Maximum Destruction. So when time expired, anything else after that was not counted. Right up and over those bus obstacles. Giving us a little more run here for Maximum Destruction just to show off a little bit. Right up and over the crush cars as he stretches out one of the cars there with his flat tire. Hits the side of the shipping container, rolls it over. Hits the backflip ramp, and it seems like that will be it for Maximum Destruction's run. One more truck is left, and I'm sure you know who it is. And the final truck is, of course, Gravedigger. It did alright in racing. Has yet to actually make it into the World Finals. Let's see whether Gravedigger will get their chance here. Off he goes, going for the shipping container. Up he goes, some huge air, nose to the sky, lands it on his side. And it seems the entirety of the rear steering is gone for Gravedigger. Backing up over that bus obstacle. Continually to go in reverse, but that rear steering gone doesn't seem to be helping Gravedigger at all. Trying to get himself turned around, up the bus obstacle, or at least the ramp. Up and over the shipping containers he goes, lands it down. Doesn't quite pop a wheelie. It's a little squirrely as the rear suspension bounces around. Goes for the backflip ramp, loses the flag and the front clip. Otherwise, the truck seems to be fine, minus the rear steering issue. Trying to get himself turned around, goes for the van obstacle, goes sideways as he lands it down once again, but will save it. Tries to pull a wheelie off of it, but the rear suspension wasn't having any of it. Into reverse he goes, over the crushed cars. Pops a little bit of a wheelie once again. Rear suspension clips the ramp as he manages to save it. Up and over the crushed cars he goes, and will save the truck once again. Again, that rear suspension is not helping Gravedigger, it seems. Up he goes, up the bus obstacle, landing it back down, and we'll go right up and over. Still trying to get the truck to go where he wants it to. Gravedigger hits the van obstacle. Almost rolls it over, but will manage to stay on all four of his wheels. Trying to turn himself around, going on 2 wheels for a bit. Putting it into the dirt and right into the mud for Gravedigger. Getting himself out of the mud, going for the center ramp. Goes a little bit squirrely once again. Can he save it? Yes, he can, just as time expires. Going into reverse, gonna stuff it into the bus obstacle, it seems. Up he goes. And right back onto all of his wheels. Driving off once again. Up and over the center ramp he goes. Rolls it over. And will save it. And it seems that is the end of the run here for Gravedigger. Now let's go on to our little encore event. Here we are with the Beam Monsters monster truck. Once again, no BKT tires here. Anyway, thank you for watching, and remember to vote down below for which truck you believe should have won out of Part 1 and Part 2. So, I will see you in the next video, even though I know I said I'd wait for the mod pack to update. It's taking quite a while. So, hopefully the next event, perhaps, we will see the mod pack updated. So, I will see you in the next monster truck event.